The Toronto Blue Jays continue to find a way as they pick up a series win over the Cubs. And it's not just that they beat a playoff team, but it's how they did it. We'll explain as we start talking some Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays worked from dome in very quick fashion. 2 hours and 6 minutes is all it took for the Jays to pick up a 2-1 win over the Chicago Cubs, picking up a series victory. And this one just had a bit of a different feel to it. For those who are unfamiliar, I'm on radio out here in Calgary sometimes, and talking about over the last little bit. Look, not worried about this Jays team. I know lost 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, but they've beaten enough good teams for me to think, hey, this is a good baseball team, so I'm not going to get too worried about what happened, what didn't happen, or anything like that. And even if they would have lost this game, I don't think I would have pushed the panic button or anything like that. It still would have been a pretty comfortable lead in the American League East. Not one that you can start resting starters or anything, but you're feeling pretty good about where things are at. But it starts to at least chip away at the confidence that you have in the ball club. And so to come out in what felt like a playoff game at the Rogers Center, the atmosphere was great. It was packed for a Thursday afternoon against a legacy team, very good baseball team, but still a National League team. To sell that dome out has to feel very good for the Jays. And then the competitive nature of it, I thought up and down. A couple things I didn't love, but I thought overall that this is a big win. You've now gone 3-3 against 2 of the best teams in the National League. That feels very good from a Blue Jays standpoint. And even with losing a couple against the Dodgers and then losing against the Cubs the other night, they still have a 4.5 game lead on the Red Sox for top spot in the American League East, and they still are the number 1 team in the American League. It's crazy to see where they are at, and it's been nice that a couple of teams haven't been able to make that charge. The Red Sox have done this a couple times this year, where they make a push and they're in it, and then they play some 500 baseball for a little bit, and then they make another push and they look dangerous and all of that. So I'm sure they have another push in them. The Jays still have some games against them still to come, but just loving where the Blue Jays were at. Talked about Swift Energy before. Swig a Swift for the working man. Sorry about that. It was product placement, wasn't planned. Your boy's just talking a lot and he's thirsty. And again, this felt like a playoff game when you look at how close it was, how very well pitched it was, and how both teams were going to the bench a lot to just play each individual matchup. And it wasn't about setting yourself up or, okay, well, we're going to rest whatever. Yes, the Cubs sat Pete Crow Armstrong, but aside from that, they're mixing and matching and trying to get everything done. And the Blue Jays are managing this game like it was a postseason game. And to come out of that with the big guys coming up in the big moments, and they've done that for the last couple, has to, again, it's all about the good feelings with the Toronto Blue Jays at this particular time. But the story of this game, there's a couple of them, but I think the big story from this is Max Scherzer looking like the Max Scherzer of old. And he's done this for a few starts in a row now, where he has taken the ball and is like, hey guys, don't really feel like losing today. So if we do, it ain't going to be because of me. And he was brilliant. You got the sense, and there's the home run there. But aside from that, you got the sense that every at bat, it was just, no, I feel comfortable. I feel good. I feel all right. I feel like Scherzer's going to do something spectacular here. And for the most part, he did. And you get some defensive help with David Schneider behind him. But there has been a lot of talk around the Blue Jays about who should start game 1 of a potential playoff series. And one of the options is pitching for Buffalo tonight in Shane Bieber. Kevin Gausman looked like a number 1 starter last night against the Cubs, and he has stepped up in those big moments all season long. You look at his best starts of the year, all of them have come against playoff teams. So he has gotten up for those big matchups. He has earned his way into that conversation. Scherzer is there. And I think, if nothing else, Scherzer is probably a lock for the playoff rotation. And even at the beginning of the year, I didn't really think that was going to happen. Now, injuries have set it up so that innings-wise, you're not necessarily too worried about it. And I think if you were worried about it and told him that, he would punch you directly in the face. But you're not necessarily worried about him being overextended or anything, but I really did thought by this time we would be talking about Max Scherzer being good, not great, being serviceable, but probably coming out of the bullpen in the playoffs. And now, if you told me he was your game one starter, it would not stun me. It wouldn't be what I would do, but it wouldn't stun me. I could see right now going probably Gosman game one. If Bieber is close to what he can be, Bieber game two, and then Scherzer game three. He has worked his way into that spot. And just again, given the experience, given the talent, because he is still pitching at such a high level, he is certainly worthy of that. And now over the last month, maybe he pitches himself out of it, but as of right now, if the playoffs were to start today on August the 14th, he would be my guy that I would trust to go out there in a big spot. And when you look at the potential of a best of five, if the Blue Jays are available or are able, to avoid the wild card, you are looking at Max Scherzer in a game three that is either to win a series or the series is tied at one. And it is a massive, massive one, or you're looking to avoid elimination. Like either way, game three is a big one, and I feel very comfortable putting Max Scherzer in that spot, and he has certainly pitched up to that. The other big part of it is that Vlad Guerrero Jr. is back. And talked about this a bit on the radio over the last little while. He has had a good season, and by most standards, people would be very happy about that. But when you sign a $500 million contract and you are coming off of an MVP caliber season, or at least close to the season, good isn't good enough. And there were times where it was good, but like the Yankee game, he went 3 for 5, but the 2 times he got out were the 2 times that they were run scoring opportunities for them. And they kind of needed their best player to step up in those spots. Now he is. He comes up with a massive hit against the LA Dodgers that helps them win the final game of that series. He comes up with their only big hit of the night last night, and he comes up with their only big hit of the ball game today, a home run in the 7th inning that he did not get all of it, but he was able to get enough of it to power it out of the ballpark and put the Blue Jays ahead. He is turning into MVP Vlad again, M Vlad P, if you will, because it is not only the big hits, it is not only big defensive plays, but it is all of them, and all of them are coming at the most important times of these games. And when you look at it, over the last month, the guy's hitting close to 400, and over the last month, he is hitting at a 31 to 35 home run pace, depending on the day, really. So you are looking at, again, the Blue Jays' best player being their best player when they've needed their best player. And that has to give you, again, a lot of confidence going into the postseason. A couple other things I liked from this game, and one thing I didn't really love, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, if you could help spread the word of Couch Potato Diary by sharing this. If you're listening in podcast form later, watching the video later, or you're checking it out right now on the live stream, share this with a couple friends and then a couple people you don't like, just to throw them off a little bit. But let's help spread the word of Couch Potato Diary. The other big thing that you like from this game is the bullpen comes up huge in this spot where it started shaky, they're trying to bunt and give you an out, and instead he sends one winging back to the backstop, and okay, well, the bunt has been successfully done for them, but then after that, to be able to shut them down, get Kyle Tucker to strike out. Dominguez comes in, gets the batter that he is facing, and then Hoffman, gas, ball game. Exactly how you draw it up for the Blue Jays. And now, when you are looking at what the Blue Jays were trying to do at the deadline, they use a few leverage guys in this one, right? With I think still probably they view him as a leverage guy because of the direction that he throws. So there is that. Dominguez is certainly a leverage guy, and Hoffman's their closer. So they used all of them. If they're in a high leverage situation against the Rangers tomorrow, they saved Varland. Fluharty who's pitched in quite a few games lately, but he is still available now. Because they built out the depth that they did, it wasn't to the high level that we thought the Yankees had with the bullpen, but they still built up enough guys that you trust in those leverage situations that they, even though they used their big arms a couple of times in this series, you still feel good about where they are at now in terms of available arms going into the game tomorrow. So I think they did good there. And for the most part, I think Schneider managed a really good ball game with utilizing pinch runners, utilizing this bullpen. I admittedly I wasn't in love with bringing Little in, and then when he walks a guy and then puts it to the backstop, I was really not in love with that. And Max Scherzer may have actually just throttled him after the game if the Jays end up losing there. I think I still would have trusted Scherzer in that spot, but after that, managing pinch hitters, I think very effectively. Managing pinch runners, I think very effectively. I think he did a very, very good job of managing this ball club and getting them to where they were able to be successful in this game. In the chat, Conrad saying hi. Hello, Conrad. Shout out to you. Not gonna. Our time together with the dogs got cut a little bit shorter than we were hoping. So happy to have you in the chat here today. The one thing I didn't love about the Blue Jays, and it ends up working kinda, but I understand that this is a ball club that has been doing this all year, and it is a part of their identity, and I have even praised them for it at times because it was working. That being said, I'm getting a little over it with all the bunts, you know? Like, you have Davis Schneider get on base, great walk, good battle, or not even a battle, it was 4 pitches, but good job of doing that. And then you have Ernie Clement, who has hit home runs in all of these games, and I get he's not the power hitter, whatever, but to have a guy who you are hitting as your number 2 hitter bunt in that spot drove me up the wall. He has earned, I think, the opportunity to swing away and try to drive the baseball. Now they get him to second. They get Schneider to second. You have Vladdy coming up. I can understand the logic where Vlad has been so good at just getting the ball in play. A single does score Schneider in that spot. I get it. Then he hits it to the moon and it doesn't matter. But they do it again later on in the ball game, and you have Miles Straw bunting, moves the runner over, and okay, like Straw. The Blue Jays have, I think it's 11 guys on their team who are over 100 in OPS plus, which means they are above average hitters for the season. I am fairly confident Straw isn't one of them, and if he is one of the ones who is right at that line. So fine, if you want to bunt with him, okay. But it has to be something other than Tyler Heineman behind him. Like, it is one thing to move a runner into scoring position because you have Vlad Guerrero Jr. coming up, and he is one of the best hitters in baseball, and you just trust him third time through the order to be able to get a single that will bring in a run at least. I'm not doing that with Heineman against one of their leverage relievers. Like, I think it is okay. We got a runner in a scoring position. That's great. But Heineman, who has been playing over his skis all season long, ends up not delivering in the spot. They pinch hit Alejandro Kirkin in the 9-hole for Lo Perfido. He gets out, and the inning is over. And it is a wasted out. And I have always believed you only get 27 of those in a ball game. And you only, based on how rules work, you only get 3 in an inning. I don't know why I'm giving them 33% of the outs just so I can get a guy to second base on the off chance that maybe one of the next 2 guys puts it into the outfield. I would much rather, given how hard it is to be a hitter in this sport, get 3 actual cracks at it to get it in instead of putting that pressure on the other guys to be able to get the job done. So they have done it effectively, and they really did it effectively at times where the bottom part of the lineup looked more like a AAA lineup than it did a major league one, and they were able to get the most out of it. That got them on the run that they are on. So it is tough to get away from that identity, but I wish that it was a little bit more selective at times than just all of the out of the 1980s playbook or things like that. So that's the only kind of thing I have to pick at this game. But overall, again, it's tough to complain when you have a performance like that from the Blue Jays. Conrad saying in the chat, Jays just need Connor Croson. Yeah, man. Just need a guy who hits 400. That's all you need. For those who are not from the Alberta area watching this later, Connor Croson, Okotoks kid, playing with the Okotoks Dogs in the WCBL. One of the great hitters in that collegiate level, and just an absolute beauty of a ball player. And Yes, every ball team needs more Connor Crosons. So, anyway, Blue Jays win, and now they get set for an interesting series with a Texas Rangers team that is like right on the fringes of playoff contention. So we will see what Toronto has in store for them, and then the schedule eases up for a couple of weeks, so the Jays have a chance to make some hay while the sun shines. Going to move away from the baseball conversation. If you still have baseball notes to add, by all means, throw them into the chat. I have no problem coming back to them. I will probably finish whatever topic I am on just for my editing purposes, but absolutely throw anything you want into the chat. And if you're watching this after, agree, disagree, drop it down in the comments below and let me know what you are thinking. Conrad here, the Dodgers are winning the division. Or sorry, Padres winning the division. I don't want to mislabel that. Hey, look, Dodgers aren't playing great. Padres, for the 18th year in a row, very aggressive at the trade deadline. It's an exciting team. It's a fun team. Would love to see that happen and have the Dodgers have to go through the wild card round in the baseball playoffs. That would be a whole lot of fun. If you miss anything from the live streams, make sure that you catch up with the podcast, or just you want to take me wherever you go, take us with a podcast. It is available on all major podcast platforms and even some non-major ones, but you know the drill. It is available on Spotify, also available on Apple or wherever you get your pods.